Yeah, we certainly had an awful lot of inquiries in terms of what we were trying to probably augment our group and moving the pieces around and where guys were going to play. Was a little bit of a challenge for us if it didn't really move the needle. But obviously, we would like to probably add a little more depth there. But several of our guys have really stepped up and played well, and we feel that we're in a good spot overall with our hockey club.
Jake, yeah, obviously he's got the trade request out there. Are you concerned at all about his mind frame for the rest of the way here?
No, actually, I think it's the other way around. I think this really puts some clarity for Jake in the sense that he doesn't have any trade protection, so we could have moved him prior to the deadline. We could revisit in the summertime. He could also go forward, most importantly, with just playing hockey and realizing that he's a bigger part of our team. He's gone in and played well with Bergie and Marsh, and hopefully we're going to have that when Bergie gets back. And we're going to need Jake. We feel he's an important part of our hockey club. We want him to feel that way. And it also sends a message that, to the rest of anybody that had, there's clarity there and moving forward. If we were going to explore something, which didn't really mean today at all, just meant going forward, that the impact he can have in our hockey club, I think we believe in.
That said, did you try today to move him after you solidified the new deal?
I've been having discussions on Jake for months, so today wasn't any different in terms of where teams thought he fit into their group and what they were trying to do. Some teams were down the road on other things, and we'll pivot back maybe, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Like I said, I sent a clear message to Jake, and he sent one to us that he just wants to play hockey. And the bottom line is he knows he's an important part. If he plays to his capabilities, he's going to help us and help himself.
Well, what's your mindset now that you made the Lindholm move? You added some depth today with Brown, but where you were takes back maybe 3 weeks ago to where you are now in terms of your mindset as you look at this team and how it's constructed.
Well, we've certainly we addressed some things this summer that we needed to from a depth perspective, and it took some time for chemistry and really the pieces to fall into place. And obviously with Bruce making the change of Pasternak moving on with Hall, it kind of reconfigured how we were playing as a group. And then you see the third line has now played together for a period of time, and they've kind of have some chemistry and productivity going. So it's sort of allowed the pieces to slot in where we had hoped and envisioned, and you just never know. Fourth line plays their identity, and we've had depth in that situation. You got to stay healthy. The bottom line is the war of attrition starts from now till when a cup is presented, and staying healthy is a big part of that. Obviously we hopefully added to the back end to hopefully get through all of that. You never know. We've monitored our team closely from January on in terms of how we've played. Goal scoring's gone up. February on, we've played well. We've defended well all year. We're going to continue to do that. You got two goaltenders that are going to go through a stretch run in the playoffs for the first time. Let's just saddle up. And I think the guys are excited. You got a player in Hampus that is not just come to impact our team now, but moving forward. Having him signed in an area that we feel we could help our group, even though they've played well. I think we're a good defending team. Testament to the structure the coaches have and the players to play to that. And Hampus is excited to come in and impact our hockey club. And Josh adds a physical presence and a size factor I think everybody acknowledges that you're going to need as you go through the playoff stretch. And hopefully we get in, take a run.
Any of the potential targets that may have been UFAs, were you trying to gauge whether you could re-sign those guys to an extension? Did that have anything to do with not being able to consummate a deal?
Yeah, we don't have the advantage of communicating with people that are under contract for other teams. So that's a guess. You try and figure out what players may or may not be who their comparables are and whether or not it fits with our club, and do as much due diligence of people that have touch points around those players, but you can't have any direct conversation with it. So sometimes some teams go into it just to have the rental. knowing that they can handle it for next year. So there's different mindsets in how you approach it, but there's probably some risk associated on both sides.
You mentioned opening, unrelated to the trade deadline. How well do you feel like you are set up open to go into these playoffs? Obviously, it's a different situation than you've had for the last decade.
It is significantly different. You have a goalie in Tuukka in the years past that you probably knew right from the get-go, if he was healthy, that he was going to be able to take a run. And we did a pretty good job of finding Yarrow as a complement to that. And we worked hard all throughout the year to map out. This year it's been a little different. Played maybe a little hotter hand, but still made sure we spread it out and the guys get equal footing and they feel good about their games. And Linus has played really well, in particular the last 2 nights. And I think Butch feels like he can go with either guy at any time right now. And then we decide. The last Stanley Cup champions outside of Tampa have played 2 goalies at some point in time. You just never know. As I said, it generally doesn't show up for the goalies to get injured, but you just never know. And now we feel like we've got 2 guys that give us a good chance to win every night. And they're the same. They have a good chemistry on and off the ice and work habit off the ice to push each other. See who pushes forward to hopefully, take the net and run with it.
You had to give to get for Hampus, all those future assets. So do you think that left you guys in a position where other rivals were saying, well, it just looks like there's more options depth-wise in terms of assets?
We still could have, made some trades today from the standpoint of it was a lot of leveraging futures. It wasn't, a lot of players. There's some players that move teams, and that's a lot of times the cap dynamics of some of these things. And we weren't looking to significantly take away from our team construction as it is now. So, we've kept an eye towards what we have. Our prospect pool, knowing what we have in a couple of players in particular that we felt that were a big part of what we're going to need going forward. There's always a balancing act there. It just is. You're paying it forward to some degree, or borrowing it from the forward and paying it now. We could have stayed in on other things as well.
About the picks, so you trade those picks, there's a lot of it, you feel better trading that knowing that you're working toward extending Hampus and knowing that you know what you have in him. And he's a proven, seasoned NHL veteran, and so you go with the sure thing versus what could be based on. You really have no idea what you're going to be looking for, what you're going to have available to you.
Yeah, it starts with the investment of our team. It honestly does. You ask so much of the players and the organization and what they do, and you hope those 2 things are aligned. The team is playing well. So how can you complement that? And ultimately, that's where we've been in the last few years. So we've tried to do that, and we've knocked on the door. And I want to knock again. That's honestly what the players are looking at as well. You walk through the door after you make it, and some guys have perked up. That's the feeling you want. And I think most teams that tried to add to their groups, feeling that they have an opportunity, they feel that way. And I don't think we're any different. We'll wait and see whether or not we did enough, or whether I did enough to help the group. Sorry.
You said you wanted to add up front, it didn't happen. I'm just curious, this is sort of a 35,000-foot question. Not having Patrice under contract after this year, how much of that influenced what you were doing these last, say, 3 or 4 days in terms of wanting to add, not knowing where he's going to go?
I haven't really given much thought about the Patrice factor. My job is to put the best team on the ice that I possibly can. I honestly believe that Patrice is playing at the top of his game. If he's healthy and he looks around at his teammates and he really enjoys it, he's going to want to play hockey. That's his decision. He's the only one that's got a timeline on it. I've never asked him, since he made his statement the first of the year. I just take my cues from how the team is doing and how invested he is. He's pretty invested. And I think that, being excited about adding a player that can impact our hockey club like Hampus in the long term, hopefully it sends the right message, not just to your club, but obviously to one of the most important players in the history of the organization.
Have you got a gut read on him, what you think of it?
As I said yesterday, Spidey sense for me doesn't exist. That's only Patrice's, for him to make that declaration, not me.
And any clarity on his injury?
Yeah, he skated today. He's moving along, so he'll be fine.
You talked to the police and Laura since Ohio State season ended.
I haven't personally. Adam and Jamie have spoken at length to Mason. He's dealing with an injury, a lower body injury right now that he's going to kind of, take some extra time. Whether or not he would have been playing this weekend to be determined, would have been probably on the aggressive side of things. So he's kind of evaluating that. We're going to meet with him and let that heal, and then let him make the best decision for Mason. There's not any urgency to rush through the healing process, and then we get a better feeling as to where he's going to go going forward.
Anything else? Same question on Lysel's status in terms of, could he be coming in this year?
After his junior season, he could join either club, to tell you the honest truth, as a signed reserve list player. He's trying to do everything he possibly can to put Vancouver in the best spot that they're in, and hopefully continues to, he's had a good offensive year overall, working on his habits. I was out, saw him a couple weeks ago, met with him, and just, making sure the lines of communication, he understands that he's got to stay in the moment. Where your feet are is where you need to be. Take care of that process, take them as far as you can. There's an opportunity, as soon as that one closes, and hopefully they play for as long as they possibly can, and that's where he needs to focus. But he's a possibility for Providence in here as well.
Just in terms of games, is he pro ready at this point?
He has pro attributes, for sure. The physicality and some of the things that come with gaining experience at this level. You're probably better served to go through a training camp environment, rookie camp, training camp,